Oh, we're all right. We're
How's it
live.
going?
What's up, Brian? We were on the week. I guess it's week one. Is this week 1.5? I guess since we already did one, our second trade show.
Week one recap, week two preview. One and a
Yeah,
half
right.
works for
Somewhere in the
me.
middle. Um, cool. I mean, yeah. Where do we start? What's I guess the bury the lead would be the Aaron Rodgers Achilles.
Yes, bummer. That's a big bummer, not only for him. I mean, he wasn't as big for the fantasy asset, but I mean, Garrett Wilson's obviously the one that's made mostly affected, and then the run game probably gets a little bit of a negative effect just due to whoever's at quarterback. You can probably lean on defenses can lean against the run a little bit more and just force whoever the next quarterback is to throw it a lot more. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah. I mean, I had a bunch of bets in the game, but I went from this game now sucks to oh. It's like the girl drinking the kombucha gif, right?
Yep.
But as
Yeah.
somebody in a superflex league who has terrible quarterbacks, is Zach Wilson on your radar?
I no. I have enough terrible quarterbacks that I don't. I'm not going to spend up for him. I. I'd say in general, maybe I see them adding somebody. Like they gotta add, even if it's just a backup. And if Wilson's not good, you go to the backup. But I mean, I've heard
When?
rumors of Flacco. I've heard rumors of Matt Ryan. Just any older veteran quarterback has come up. I feel like in the past 24 hours.
Yeah, for sure. So, to trade, have you made any trades this year?
Not since we last spoke. I am trying to maybe craft a Garrett Wilson trade, but it's I'm in between. Do I trade one of my rookie wide receivers, Jordan Addison and or Zay Flowers for Garrett Wilson? I think I do, and just kind of hope that you get the owner basically just panicking and hope they trade him because even last year when Garrett Wilson had whoever was starting at quarterback, it was Wilson, I think it was Strevler and Flacco. I
And Mike White?
Yeah, and Mike White. Yeah, forgive me if I pronounced Strevler's name wrong for the game and a half he played, but he still had 1,000 yards. Touchdowns weren't as easy to come by, but he's still going to be valuable. So I wouldn't overly sell out on him. But if if you notice people in your league tend to overreact, I would buy on him now. I know that's probably not a popular take, but I think if you can find somebody who you can trade a flex worthy guy for and he's just really reeling after the loss, see what can happen. Worst case, they say no and you just leave it alone.
Yeah, no, for sure. Trading's all about zagging, right? Everyone's the
Yeah.
exact same, right? Everyone after week one is saying don't overreact, but they're also secretly overreacting. So the key is to kind of use that, right? Use that tide of overreaction. So like let's say who are the top five guys that went off that overperformed that you'd like to sell high on?
For me, I think Tyler Algier is one. I just
You got 15
I,
carries though. That's pretty nice.
that's fair. I just think when they play a better offense, I think Bijan's going to be the guy in the pass game more. So if they actually have to pass the ball, it's going to be Bijan mostly. Algier, what, scored twice too? So
Yeah.
you have two touchdowns, like kind of carrying the load as well. He had 75 yards, 15 carries. That's fine. It's 5 yards a carry, I think. And then you have three catches for 19 yards.
But that offense is going to be able to sustain two running backs, right? I think like the Eagles last year, or sorry, the Lions and Eagles, Lions,
I
Lions.
could see him as like a flex worthy, but if people are valuing him as like an RB2 to like, and by RB2, I mean like anywhere from running back 13 overall to 24. If you think that people are valuing him that way, I would get rid of him. I don't think he's gonna continue this. I think most of my goal for week 1 is who scored touchdowns and had very low volume or just very low efficiency. So like Justice Hill, a big name now coming up since J.K. Dobbins also out with an Achilles. He scored, I think, 2 touchdowns on like 10 yards, 2 touchdowns on 9 yards a carry, or not a carry, 9 total yards and like a yard a carry. Like that's just, he got touchdown luck. That happens sometimes. Great if you were the 0.01% that started him in week 1. I just wouldn't count on that being the case. And Gus Edwards outran him. And yeah, you could say Hill's the pass down back, but Jackson barely throws to his running backs. It's tight ends or he runs.
Well, yeah, or rookie wide receivers now. But yeah, I'd say all Raven running backs are out the window. You know, they can't be trusted. They've never been able to be trusted. It's just it's not worth it. But yeah, it's the hardest thing in the world in fantasy is like if you drafted the guy Algier, right? You got him in the 10th round or something crazy. He got the touchdowns. You feel like a genius, and then now having to sell high on him, it's so counterintuitive to everything. But that's also the key to fantasy, right? You got a hot stock, dump it, get for a cheap stock, and then you do that enough times, you're going to end up coming out on top. Or looking like an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, another player I had on my mind, which now I don't know if it's really sell high because of the Rodgers news, but Breece Hall, I think he had one great run, 80-something yards, 120-something yards total. I like to sell high on those like one massive play, kind of does your whole fantasy. And I still think Dalvin's going to be more involved, but I don't think you're going to get proper value for him now that Rodgers is out. That was another of my kind of sell highs, but who do you have on your mind?
For sell high, I'm trying to think anyone that I hit. I mean, for me, like Calvin Ridley, because I don't think he can stay healthy, and he looked amazing. And I mean, I think you could almost get anyone in the world for Calvin Ridley right now. Let's see. I'm trying to think of the players I had that overperformed, but really there was Anthony Richardson probably, because I got him in a couple leagues, and he looked great, and he's probably is going to be great, but he also kind of got hurt. Colts aren't really going to be any good. I think if you whoever in your league, if you have Richardson as your second QB, whoever got Rodgers, I think you could probably trade him Anthony Richardson for almost any player on his team.
Yeah, I mean, I think Richardson can hold it. I definitely love Richardson. I see Richardson as, okay, if he can throw for 200 yards, maybe average a touchdown and a half through the passing game, give him an interception, and then like 50 yards rushing, I think that's just that's 20 points right there. Like a half a touchdown. And I just think those are all pretty doable for him. Yeah, the offense isn't going to be the best. We did get good news on Taylor wants to come back in week 5. So I think he's a solid keep, and maybe wait a little bit, 1 more or 2 more weeks where he does well, then sell, see if you can get one of the top quarterbacks, or just sell him now and see if the Burrow owner, the
Burrow owner, that's great.
Allen owner, just see if any of those guys would be like, screw it, I want the upside over Burrow because I just can't stand what he did.
Yeah, that'd be great. Burrow for Richardson, the greatest trade of all time. All right, we got our question here. 14 team, half PPR. I got offered Najee and Mike Williams, gross, for Jacoby Myers. 14 team. Okay, so the 2's valuable in that. Najee, Mike Williams and Jacoby got hurt, concussion. We don't know if he's going to play, but he's also got Chase, Sutton, Deontay Johnson, Lost Dog. Ooh. I guess I'm kind of addicted to trading, but I would probably do that because 14 team, you want depth. Even though I hate Mike Williams, he's just so unreliable. And Jacoby looked great, but I don't trust Garoppolo. Devontae is not going to have Patrick Surtain on him every week. That's Jacoby. That might be the top 5 sell high guy of the week.
Yeah, I mean, I think he benefited a lot from the other team concentrating on Adams. I would do this in a heartbeat. Like, yeah, maybe Myers is the better overall overall player, but you have Deontay Johnson's also who's hamstring. Is he out for a
Weeks.
little? Yeah, weeks. You also lost Dobbins.
Yeah, you need
So
depth.
you are basically putting Johnson hopefully on an IR slot if you have that. And then you're just subbing those two in. Like, I think that's a kind of no-brainer. Yeah, Najee's going to be boring, but that Steelers team will rebound. Maybe they're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
as
it was
high.
against the Niners, right?
Yeah,
You
like
don't count anything against the Niners.
this seems like a massive sell high, buy low on both sides. And I like to be on the buy low side. Most will. Maybe you get just roasted by the end of the year, but you just have to accept that and you just keep trying to do this every week, trading. No one actually I feel like nobody normally does trade every week, but you can trade every week and keep buying low, selling high. You will end up on top at the end of it.
Yeah, yeah, especially 14 team, right? Give me all the depth in the world, right? Because you probably got a bunch of bums on your roster.
Yeah.
That's the one mistake I always make. My team's always too deep. Like right now, the waiver wire is just full of all these guys, Pukas and your boy Tutu Atwell, and it's that's the hardest part, right? Do you drop somebody who underperformed? Like I was listening to a pod today. They're like, "Do we drop Christian Kirk?" It's like absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's week one is fun because you get to see everyone just going crazy over the results and the world's ending or you're on top of the world and it's a long season.
Okay, what do we got here? Trade evaluation request, 12 team PPR. You get Tua, Cam Akers, Michael Thomas. These huge trades are always so hard to evaluate. But you trade just for Josh Jacobs? Oh, I mean, I love trading Jacobs. They currently have Geno and Jones at QB. Well, that sucks. Ooh. I mean, Akers looked terrible. What do you average? 1 point something yards per carry. Tua looked amazing. So you're buying high, but also, he's on the moon. So, what? How high? Who cares? And then Michael Thomas, you're going to get 4 weeks from. I'm the biggest anti-Josh Jacobs guy in the world.
I kind of like the Jacobs side. I just like.
It's just getting Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, like because okay, so if you're that team and you currently have Geno and Daniel Jones, does that mean those are the two you're dropping?
I think no, it's super flex, and those are his two QBs.
Yeah,
so, in that case, Tua is the best player in the trade.
Yeah, if it's super flex, I didn't see it was super flex, but
I'm just guessing because either way, you have to improve your QB.
Both of them will do better. They both obviously performed very poorly, but honestly, most quarterbacks did perform pretty poor. Your top 4 quarterbacks were Tua, Mac Jones, Jordan Love, Anthony Richardson. So,
wow, yeah.
1.5 of those were started in every league, probably. Like, my guess is Tua and Anthony Richardson probably had over 50% of them were started. I don't think you started Mac Jones and Jordan Love in any league other than a super flex. So,
yeah, maybe it's 16 team.
Yeah. But like, I just think I think it's a bit of an overreaction. And I think if it's not a super flex, I think Jacobs is the best player in there.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, sure. But in super flex, no brainer.
In super flex, you need that quarterback.
Okay. And then this guy, Trey, just traded Jacoby Myers and Dalvin Cook for Monty. Need an RB2. Jacoby Myers and Dalvin Cook. Oh, it's not enough info for me to really guess because, I think Cook will be better. But, the Cook taking the lion's share of the carries till Brees was back was a little overblown since Brees even started in the first snap. Monty, I don't know. That one's tough. I'd need to know how many teams are in the league.
I think it's also how many wide receivers do you also have?
And how many are you starting? 2 or 3?
Yeah. Most likely you probably drafted Jacoby at the end of your draft or middle to end. So maybe you have 3 other studs that realistically, you can't argue starting Jacoby over them, even though Jacoby went off. So if that's the case and you're really RB needy, I get it, yes. But if your team is pretty balanced, I would like the Myers Cook side of that.
Yeah, but if it's like a 10-team league, I like I love getting the one because then you get a little depth. But I don't have Monty that much higher than Dalvin Cook.
Same.
But so, I'm also anti any Giants Jets players because I don't trust that field. I don't want any running backs on it. All right, more trades. Let's go. Give me all of the trades. I feel like I just say yes to every trade though, so maybe take everything I say with a grain of salt. And Brian's the.
If you make enough trades, you just got to deal with
Romeo Dobbs for Chris Godwin. Oh, okay, guys. We need a little bit more info for these trade requests. Ideally, mostly just how many teams in the league. That's pretty much that'll do mostly. But I mean, Drake London, who had the worst week 1 in history. Right, his QB had more receptions than he did.
Yeah, I would. That one's different. Like. Again, it's more of it's half PPR 12 team. Yeah.
So I mean Godwin goes down a bit because it's not full PPR. I would take Drake London and Romeo Dobbs.
I think I would do the same. It's Godwin's safe. If your team is pretty locked in everywhere else and you drafted Drake London and hoping to start him every week, and now you're a little bit upset with that offense. I get that. And maybe in that case, you get Godwin safe. You know what you're getting, and then you make room to add and take a flyer on somebody in the waiver wire. Makes sense. Again, it's if your team is pretty set at wide receiver or you just need that one spot that you're trying to lock in, I see it. You're selling very low on Drake London.
We don't know which end he's getting, right? I guess he would be getting Godwin, but yeah. I'd say Dobbs, Godwin are pretty close, right? Drake London's got the high ceiling, tiny floor. So I would kind of, I wouldn't mind starting Dobbs, benching London till he wakes up. And then, London's got the high ceiling of all three of those.
Yeah. Tua and Dameon Pierce. And then for Waddle, I take Waddle all day.
Tua, Pierce, Waddle also.
Again, assuming this is a one quarterback league, Waddle.
Yeah, it's Tua, Dameon Pierce, Waddle. Yeah, Waddle. I mean,
George mentioned he just needs consistent flex play. I get that on the Chris Godwin side. Like, I see the mindset there, and especially if you're willing to give up depth and upside for just a safe, you're going to plug and play Chris Godwin every week. Bucks are not as bad as people expected. Like, they're going to throw the ball and he'll get open. And sorry, back to the question.
This guy almost gave too much. This is almost too much information. So many names. Should I make this trade for JJ? What?
So Dak and when it goes back to the Tua Pierce for Waddle, I'd keep Waddle. I just think it's better. Pierce, like you already have CMC and Breece Hall and James Conner. Just keep the best player, and that's Waddle.
Yeah, well, I mean, Waddle, Tyreek's not going to have 220 yards every week. Yeah. So, yeah, Chubb and Godwin for JJ. Like, Godwin's so low on my board right now because Baker's, he's not going to throw that much. You're probably looking 5-6 receptions, 60 yards, like almost general ceiling, right? Give him a couple random touchdowns, but he's not getting 150 targets like last year.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to run it more. I like it. I'm definitely in between last year and your expectations. So I'm a little higher on Godwin. I had him pretty high when I first kind of statted things out and did projections.
But this trade here, Chubb and Godwin for Justin Jefferson. I think if you ever have a chance to get Justin Jefferson, you just do it. You ignore the cost.
Yeah, like if he's – I don't think that would be accepted of Godwin. If it is, take Justin Jefferson all times. I love Chubb, and I think he's going to be a stud. I just
He is
think,
good. He's the best.
yeah, he's going to be, I think he could be top 3 running back, and I don't think he was drafted that way. But Justin Jefferson, no matter what, he still had a bunch of points and didn't score. Like, that's
Yeah.
if you have someone on your team who didn't score a touchdown and still was one of the top performers at the position, you keep that.
Although, but at the roster though, like you are a little thinner at running back, like because like Higgins going to be better. Flowers looks legit, but you just kind of take it. And obviously, if you're trading this quickly in the season, you're probably going to make more. So you get Jefferson, and then you trade for another running back down the road.
Yeah, and like most likely you're not starting 3 running backs.
Williams.
So
I would try and get Jameson Williams.
But give Amari Cooper, get Alvin. I keep Cooper in that one.
There we go. 12 team happy Amari Cooper, get Alvin Kamara. No, yeah. No. Your running backs aren't great though. My team is Jefferson, Olave. Okay, Flowers.
But like, what's a standard league is starting 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex, or 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and a flex. Like you start Najee and Cook, and then your flex is a wide receiver. You have some high upside wide receivers. Your starting lineup would be Cooper, Jefferson, Olave, Flowers, and Najee and James Cook.
Yeah, I mean Cooper. Like so, one of the first things, or you don't overreact week 1. Don't overreact to bad game script or bad weather in week 1.
Yeah,
right. Like Cooper was like I watched that game. Cooper was getting a lot of targets, but they couldn't grip the ball. They couldn't throw it. That game's just a throwaway, right? You wouldn't sell Jamar Chase for 60 cents on the dollar now. Don't sell Cooper either. Plus, I don't trust Kamara. He's old. I don't care that his legs weigh the same anymore. He's going to get goal line vultured. You could probably get more for Cooper after his first big game.
Agreed. And I think that game was a mess. And I just don't think you can learn a lot from that. That's kind of a throw away the tape game for the Bengals. And if the Browns aren't expected to blow out every single team, so they're going to pass it more. And I think Cooper will be a beneficiary of that.
All right. Well, we'll just keep coming here. Alexander Madison or Jonathan Taylor? The Eternal. Do you take the bird in the hand or the magic beans in the sack? I am all about magic beans. I don't like Madison. I don't trust Madison. They like to pass. They're probably going to be down in a lot of games. Give me, Indy looked okay. Give me Jonathan Taylor, week 5. Maybe he's on the Colts. Maybe he gets traded somewhere amazing. If Taylor comes back week 5 and plays 80% of what he can, you probably win your league.
Yeah, another thing with this trade right here, I would almost just say wait a week. Madison will probably do a little bit better than this week 1. So, yeah, you're 1 week closer to Taylor, but you can also argue, well, Madison's proven he's a better asset than he was after week 1. So I would do my best in that case to wait 1 more week because you can't just lose your first 4 to 5 games. You have to win at the beginning of the season. Yes, you can win a lot of games in the middle to end of the year because people just get burnt out and stop trying, but you need to get a good start, and Madison helps you get a good start. I am higher on Madison. I think he has a good workload. Yeah, he's not a stud like Taylor is, but I would do my best to try to wait a week to then make that trade.
Yeah, but that's kind of how it works though, right? You want every week JT's stock goes up.
I would take the risk that Madison's stock also goes up.
Well, yeah, playing the Eagles, we'll see. Yeah. It's not probably going to be negative game script. But what was I going to say, Matt? I think if you went 1-0, you make the trade. If you're 0-1, you try and wait a week.
Yeah, agreed. That's a good mindset there.
All right, PP. Oh, these are right up my alley. Cooper Kupp and Jordan Addison for CeeDee Lamb. Kupp, oof.
I would do it.
You would do it.
I would take the Kupp Addison.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. So we got to figure out which. This is like the blurby grammar. Do you get the Cup in the Addison, or you get in the Lamb? I mean, I was really anti-Cup, but after they won, I think that puts Cup like right back on board.
Yeah,
right? Because if they went 0-4, then maybe they're going to shut them down. But at 1-0, they look great. Stafford's back. I mean, Cup's golden again.
Yeah, no, that's big. And Addison looked good. I think he's going to get that volume. Like he's going to perform well. Is there any player right now that you're like you have an eye on? You're hoping you'll send a few offers out. Like who are you looking to buy now
on? That's tough. I mean, tight ends is a wasteland. I mean, probably I just probably do the backup running backs that look a little better. Like Ty J Spears, he was getting almost like a lot of the snaps, and Henry didn't look good. It really depends on if you won or lost in the first week, right? Because if you start 0-2, you're kind of desperate. But if you can start build a winning streak, then you can kind of build for later in the season a bit. I was just doing some. Take 5 more minutes to get your question. I was doing a little review from week 1 last year to see what the overreactions were. How many yards do you think Tony Pollard had in week 1? He had 8 rushes. Well, no, sorry, 6 rushes. Oh, spoiler alert.
I want to say the Cowboys didn't do well. 6 rushes for like 12 yards.
Yeah, 6 rushes, 8 yards, right? Like,
yeah,
and then he ended up being one of RB5 of the back half of the season.
Yeah. No, and I hear you. That's a smart mindset too, of just game script rather than just the stats. I am very much a numbers guy. That is my strength, is I will analyze the numbers and I won't pick up on this guy looked good, but game script wasn't there as much. But
Ramondre Stevenson, 8 carries, 25 yards. And your boy, guess how many yards did Lenny Fournette have in week 1?
He did pretty well, didn't he? No, I don't remember. We'll go 65.
Like 127.
Yeah.
So, I remember you paid a lot for him in your auction, but like, it's hard to sell high on that after week 1, but it's just, week 1 doesn't really mean anything. It seems like it means everything, but realistically, okay, we got some trades. Let's get back to you.
Yeah, who did you do? AJ Dillon, Jaylen Warren.
I am still a Dillon believer. Plus, Hammy with Aaron Jones. Dillon looked terrible, but give me that O-line. Give me that NFC North pad run D. You might get 3 weeks of AJ Dillon getting 2 touchdowns a game.
I'm similar, and I think I don't know why I feel this way, but I just feel like Aaron Jones gets hurt more than Najee, and when you're looking at backup running backs, you just want I think you have a better chance of AJ Dillon being a league winner than Jaylen Warren.
I think AJ Dillon for now, Warren for later.
Yeah.
All right, looking to replace Dobbins. That sucks. Full PPR league. Here we go. Would you go Algier, Josh Kelly? Wait, I remember this. I have Bijan, so I'm guessing Algier is out. Oof. I mean, I kind of like that doing the double Falcons running back because he's just going to get all the touchdowns. Josh Kelly looked really good, but I don't know. You go first.
I think I hate to say this, but like, what are your wide receivers like? Are your wide receivers safe? If your wide receivers are safe, I would go with a different player to get upside. I think the Algier route is more of the safer route because you almost guarantee if the Falcons running back scores a touchdown, you get it. So I just think you don't have as much upside as going for a different team, but you raise your floor. So in general, I'm going to kind of go the upside. I like Gus Edwards out of all of them.
Wow.
And then I would go Josh Kelly.
Wow. I would go Algier and Kyron Williams.
Yeah, Gus Edwards over Algier if you have Bijan is my thing.
Oh, okay, yeah. But like Kyron Williams is like that's kind of bearing the lead, right? He was out snapping Akers, like 100-1 in the second half. Right, Akers looked washed. Right,
Yeah,
we know McVay doesn't even like Akers.
I have Akers in a few places, and that did scare me because I remember last year they had a bunch of great things to say, and then he got hurt and was out for the year. And now it looks like it's almost like a post-type sleeper thing.
Akers? But yeah, he
Kyren
played
Williams.
really well. Kyren Williams. Yeah, he got hurt like first play of the season, right?
Yeah.
But he looked really good. The Rams are kind of back. I mean,
Yeah.
don't overreact to week 1, but the Rams are back.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we got here? We got 10 more. Okay, James Cook and Michael Pittman. Those two guys who looked awesome in week 1. For Scary Terry, Romeo Dobbs, and Brian Robinson, 12-team standard.
Standard, Robinson has way more value. Not like way more compared to like a half PPR or PPR. I'm not saying he's the best player in this by any means.
That's true. It's a really good point. Because, James Cook, like, he was getting checked down city, just little wheel routes. He's a burner. James Cook looked like the biggest winner of week 1.
Yeah, but like,
in my opinion,
7 catches for 40 yards is still just 4 points.
Yeah, I don't know for
standard. Sure. So that is where I am. I like Pittman a lot just because I again think that offense is going to target him a lot. He was targeted 11 times. I think he's just I think he's a solid and the best option for the Colts right now. I think that's pretty even. If you the Terry and Robinson is a safer, and I think Pittman's the upside. So I would like to say go with the upside and keep the Cook and Pittman, but it's pretty darn close.
I don't want 2 Commanders on my team. That's just
that also because who'd they play week 1? The team who most people think is the worst in the NFL, and they did not blow them out. It was a very close game.
Yeah. And I mean, Cook was playing the Jets, right? It's going to be a lot easier sledding.
Yeah. And just a reminder, get the Fantasy Pass, $4 a month. You will be able to ask us in Discord whenever you want. We not only will you hear from us too, but you hear from the rest of the pros on the team. It's a pretty good deal. We will help you throughout the season and playoffs and everything. Any